I don't go by, like, I know for your final grade, there's the A minus, B plus, C minus, and all those. I don't break it down into that for just tests. So for a test, 90% and above would be an A, 80% a B, 70 and up would be a C, 60, and then, well, anything below 60. For the tests, there was, in our class, 17 A's, 8 B's, 5 C's, no D's, and 1 F. I think that's really good. I'm really happy with the grades. All my classes were good. Like my other Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, there were 16 A's, 12 B's, 3 C's, and a D. And my Tuesday, Thursday was 11 A's, 18 B's, 3 C's, and an F.
You said where can we find our scores?
When you look up the test, there should be a link right below it. It should also be under grades.
I'm only seeing the take home portion of the exam available for us to see. I don't know if that's just me though.
Yeah, me too.
You know what? It could be because I didn't want anyone else opening it. I would think if try going under grade book and see if it shows it there first. Because I don't want to open the test for everyone to be able to see. I can't bring up grade book, it'll show everyone's grades. If you go under is it
I do not have this class in my grade book yet.
Oh wow.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, this is 116. Okay. Now, for some reason, I haven't heard back yet. My math lab is not download or uploading to As You Learn yet. And that's why I had it blocked because you couldn't see your total grade. So total grade, if it's there, it's not going to be exact yet because my labs isn't coming down. But now that that's open, refresh your page and then go to grades. Are they showing up now?
Yeah.
Okay. I got all the weights in there, so it's weighted properly. It's just my labs isn't coming down right now. I don't know why. Okay, so you should be able to see your grade now. And chances are it's an A or a B. And the other thing is, this was worth 45 points. Whoops, yeah, this is yours, 45 points. The take home is 55 points. So those who got a C or even the F can come up some, but these could all move up to A's and B's depending on how well you do on the take home.
When we look at our grade, in the grade book, the in portion exam or in class part, that's not in there, is it?
It should be.
I only
I
see
can
the
only see the take home part.
I wonder if it's because, see, I'll show you. I have, you can see the screen, right? Like week 1, week 4. Oh, I didn't share my screen, did I? I always forget to share my screen. Okay, so here's the breakdown. Now, I didn't think that would affect grade, but we'll see. I'm going to change the test anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. I had this hidden so that students, because I think 8 students haven't taken it yet. Not all in this class, but I don't know if that should block it though, because my other class, it was close and they were able to see their grade. I don't know. Refresh your page and see if it comes up now.
Yes, it came up for me.
Okay, so that must be why then. Okay, go ahead and look at your grade. After class, though, I'm going to close it so that the people who need to take the test can't see the test ahead of time. But I'll leave it there for now. All right, so you should be able to see your in-class portion now under grades. And this was your breakdown. And these were my other 2 classes. You could see well, 1 person in each class is failing. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. And I believe, well, I know 2 of them I've never seen in the classroom, so I'm not sure about the other one. Any questions? You've probably seen up, if you looked up the homework and things, there's a project coming up. I have a homework assignment for the project because a lot of times what students' ideas are, they're not going to work, and or what they think the dependent and the independent variable is the opposite. And so that's why I have the homework, and I forget what I made it do. So the homework is due September 18th. And then the project is due, oh, no, that must be the day I entered it. The project is due October 10th. It's right here. Homework. I knew that wasn't right. So the homework portion is due the 26th. For the homework, you want to, because now we've done a lot of scatter plots and we've looked at a lot of them. You want to choose 2 pairs of data that you think have a relationship. Students before have done size of tattoo and the price, the weight of a bullet and the speed it comes out of the gun, the age of a cow and the amount of milk, the height of a basketball player and the number of baskets made in a season, the size of a tornado and its speed. So they're not things that you would have to ask people. I mean, you can. I had one student who went around and did the size of the tattoo and the price. And she just asked people in the classroom who had tattoos, what's the size and the price? And if someone had 2 or 3, she got 2 or 3 variables already. But you want 25 pairs of data. So if you were doing size of tattoo and price, you'd have to get 25 different tattoos and their price. 25 different bullets and the speed. This one, the student, their family, had a cow farm, and so that's why she did that one. I've had students do things with Shark Week, the weight of the shark and its mouth span, or the length of it, or the number of teeth. So there's a lot of different things you can look at. And it doesn't have to be going and asking people things. You can look up the data. For your test, I went and found sales of PlayStation 4, and I went with each month how many were sold. I put that in, and you found your scatter plot from it. So that was just data I looked up on the internet, and that's what you can do. But find something of interest to you or something where you work. One girl worked at a fabric store, and so she found the number of like pieces of string in an inch that they use. They tell like how tight it's woven and the price to see if there was a comparison. Any questions on that? Any questions? Okay. Now, if you have ideas and you're not sure, you can send me a text or an email. You kind of want to make sure, like on the size of the tattoo causes the price. The price doesn't cause the size of the tattoo. And when you're doing that, that's how you decide what is your independent variable, and that should be on the x-axis. So the size of the tattoo causes the price. Tattoo is the X. The weight of the bullet causes it to go out faster or slower. So this is your X. Now, sometimes you can go either way. For instance, how tall you are and your arm span, those are related. But the height doesn't cause the arm span, and the arm span doesn't cause the height. So which one you put on X and Y doesn't matter. So there are cases where it doesn't matter. Any questions on that? Any questions? Okay, so this is due on the 26th. It's just what you're going to do it on and answer the questions there, but you don't actually find the values. When you find the values, that's the project. It's worth 50 points. You'll find 25 pairs of data. So you're going to have your X and your Y, or size of tattoo and the price. Do you think there'd be a relationship between the size of a tattoo and the price?
Yes.
There's a little bit of relationship. It's not as strong as the person had thought, because it's not just the size, it's the detail and the amount of different colors of ink or how much ink is in it. And so it's more than just size, but there was a relationship. It just wasn't as strong as the person thought it would be. And that's fine. And if there ends up being no relationship, that's fine. You just explain that in your paragraph. So you'll get your data, and it can be from the internet, from a magazine, or by asking people. You'll enter it just like we do in Excel, Desmos, or the TI-84, whatever. Or if you use a different technology, that's fine also. You'll just want to be able to upload the picture. Then you'll graph it, find the trend line, find R or R squared, and make sure the independent variable is on the x-axis. And then you just answer the questions. We've been using R squared. They used to use R for this course, but this semester everything showed R squared. So I'll accept either R or R squared. They tell you the same thing. It's just when it's R, then you have a little bit more information. Because if R is positive, you know that the graph's increasing. And if R is negative, it's decreasing. So R tells you a little more information, but I don't know, the book only used R squared, so. Any questions? No? Okay. Three point one. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to cover chapter 3. There's 4 sections. Normally, when this is completely online, I cover 3, 1, 2, and 3 together, but I found last semester it was a little too much. So we'll definitely cover 3, 1, and 3, 2 this week. Maybe start 3, 3, but then next week we'll do the rest of 3.3 and 3.4. So when you're doing your homework, you want to try and have all of it done by next week, not this week, because it'll be a lot. And these two are put together in one section. Okay, so today we'll cover 3.1. Three point one works with quadratic functions, and a quadratic function is a polynomial of degree 2. It's a parabola. And a parabola looks like this. And it can go up or it can go down, but both ends go the same. So when they're talking about end behavior, they either both go up or they both go down. And as you see here, it depends on the A. First one is standard form. Standard form looks like this. When you're finding degree, that's your largest exponent. And so it will be a 2 if you have a parabola. When we don't have x squared, we have x to the first. That was your straight line. So x squared is a parabola. Let's look at A. If A is greater than 0, then the parabola is going up. And the vertex is this lowest point here. So in this case, the vertex is the minimum, because it's the lowest value in the graph. When A is negative, the parabola flips and goes down. Notice then the vertex is up here. The vertex is a maximum. Any questions so far? To find the vertex, x is negative b over 2a. And then to find y, You plug negative b over 2a into the equation, and that will give you y. Any questions so far? Okay, let's try one. Now, a lot of this, I think they should have had 3 point, I didn't think of it at the time. I should have taught 3.2 first and then 3.1. But I think the thing is they want you to do a lot of graphing with a outside source, like a calculator or Desmos, and then they show you all the steps on how to find those values. So this first section, most of it we will find using Desmos. And then the next section we'll learn how to do it without a graphing utility. If we look at the first, (3x squared minus 12x plus 9). To find the vertex, we know it's negative b over 2a. A is with your squared term, b is with the x, and c is with the constant. So if we find a, it's 3. B is a negative 12, always take the negative with it. And C is a 9. The biggest mistake that happens, don't take the variable with it. A is in front of the variable. They're not, the variable doesn't go with the letters. So negative 12 over 2 times A, which was 3. Gives us 12 over 6, or 2. So the vertex is 2 something. To find the y value, plug it back into the original. So 3 times 4. So we get 2, negative 3. Any questions on that? Now for the x-intercept, we need to factor. And so that's in the next section. But I do want to show you the y-intercept because when you have a polynomial, the y-intercept is your c. Because if we plug in 0, this drops out and this drops out. So it's easy to find. But the x-intercept to do by hand is in the next section. We're going to graph it. But is there any questions on that? So we got our vertex here. It would go right 2 and down 1, 2, 3. And we know it's going up because A is positive. And we know it's hitting the y-intercept at 9. So it's going to look something like this. Okay, let's do it on Desmos. I did start recording, didn't I? So if we do it on Desmos, you could type it right here and it will give you the parabola. or you can click on the 3 lines like we did for the scatter plot and go to parabola, and this parabola is in standard form. Open the graph. Then we can put our A, our B, and our C. For ours, A was 3, B was -12, and C was 9. And here's our graph. Notice the vertex over 2, down 3. And here at 9 is the y-intercept. And the x-intercepts is when y is 0, it's at 1 and 3. So one way of finding all of this is by the graph. Now, of course, sometimes it's decimals. 2, -3 for the vertex, your x-intercepts, and your y. Any questions on that one? So there will be a part on the take home where you can use Desmos. Okay, let's try the next one. F of x equals a negative x squared plus 4x plus 5. So we'll find the vertex by hand because I want you to practice it, and then we'll put it on Desmos. A is -1, B is 4, and C is 5. To find the vertex, x equals -b over 2a. -4 over 2 times a -1 gives us a +2. Now you want to plug 2 into the equation to find the y value. Most mistakes happen here. You want to be careful. You don't want to put the negative. It's not being squared. This is a -4, not a +4. I always, as I'm plugging things in, put parentheses. So it's 2 squared times this negative. Or -4 plus 8 minus 5. Plus 5. So our vertex is the point 2, 9. Any questions on that? So be careful of this. It's only squaring the x, not the negative. Follow rules of operation. Exponents first. The y-intercept is easy. It's just your c. So it hits the y-axis at 5. Okay, let's put it on Desmos. We have A, B, and C right here. So A becomes -1, 4, 5. Notice the parabola is going down, which makes sense because A is negative. Here's our vertex. 2, 9, which is what we found. our y-intercept, which we said was 5, and then our x-intercepts, -1 and 5. Any questions on using the graph? Okay, so you just plug your A, B, and C in. The next group shows you vertex form. The reason they call it vertex form is you can take the vortex right from it, so you don't have to calculate any of this. Notice A is still there, but it's out front. The vertex is HK. Now notice this is a minus H, so when you're pulling it out, it's going to change the sign. But the K will stay the same as it is. So the vertex is HK. And the A again tells you if it's going up or down. So number 3, f of x equals x plus 2 squared minus 3. The number in front, the A, remember when there's no number, it's a 1. So A is greater than 0, which means the parabola is going up. And the vertex is -2, -3. So this one's opposite sign. This one you keep the same sign. -2, -3. Any questions? Let's look at the graph. Now what's nice is this one was for standard form. Notice we go back here, we have parabola vertex form. So then instead of A, B, and C, you put your H and your K. So click on vertex form and graph. And then it asks for A, which ours was a 1 because there's no number in front. H was -2. And K was -3. And there's our graph. The vertex is right here. I don't know why it's not just letting me see it, but -2 down -3. There it is. -2, -3. And that's what we found. The y-intercept is here, 0, 1. The x-intercepts here and here. But we didn't need to find those for this one. I think it just asked for the vertex and graph. So any questions on that one? Okay. Number 4. F of x is a negative x minus 4 squared plus 2. Our vertex is what? Anyone want to say?
Four, 2.
Mm-hmm. And A is what? A's out front.
-1.
Yes, thank you. So it's a -1. that means our parabola should be going down because A is negative. So we should have a vertex at 4, 2, and it should be going down. Let's look at it on Desmos. So instead of 1, it's -1. Notice how that flipped when I put that negative in there? And H is 4. And K is 2. We said the vertex was 4, 2. We go over 4, up 2. It's right where it belongs. And we could find the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. That's really low. -14. Any questions on that? Okay. Let's try a couple of story problems. Number 5. The profit for a MP3 player can be described by the function p of x equals 40x minus 3,000 minus 0.01x squared. So we know it's a parabola, but you need to be careful. Sometimes they don't put them in order. One reason is they don't want a negative in front. But another reason is they want to confuse you and make sure that you know that A is with the squared term, B is with the x, and C is the constant. So if we had to write them down, A is the negative 0.01, B is the 40, and C is the negative 3,000. So they don't have to be in order. But you could put them in order if you wanted. It's a little smaller. Writing too big. There we go. How many MP3 players are needed to be produced and sold for a maximum profit? So we're looking for X, the number of players. We know that this is a parabola because it's squared. The degree is 2. The negative A means it's going down. Well, that means then my vertex is going to give me a max. X is the number MP3 players, and Y is the profit. And it's set in dollars. Right here. So if we find the X value for the vertex, that will tell us the number of MP3 players that will give us a maximum profit, because the vertex is the high value. So we want negative B over 2A. Negative 40 over 2 times negative 0.01. Negative and negative's a positive. 40 divided by 0.02 is 2,000. So 2,000 MP3 players will give us a maximum profit. Well, what is the maximum profit? To find the maximum profit, you just use 2,000 and plug it into your profit equation. So we just plugged it in for X. I think I typed it all right. Are you getting 67,000? Any questions on it? So our maximum profit is $67,000 when 2,000 MP3 players are produced and sold. Any questions?
I actually got 37,000 for that.
40 times 2,000 minus 3,000 minus.
At the end, it looks like you put 1,000 instead of 2,000 in
I did.
the equation.
That could make a big difference. Thank you. I knew it sounded different than what I got in my last class, but then I did so many problems. Thank you. Be careful, this should have been 2,000 squared. That looks better. Any questions on that one? Is everyone getting 37,000? If you're not doing it all at once, then make sure you square first and multiply these two together. But 2,000 squared times that. But you can enter it all at once. Any questions? Number 6, the profit for easy cut lawnmowers can be described by P of X equals $840x minus 75.6 minus 0.4x squared. So it is a parabola. The A value is negative, so that means our parabola is going down. Go ahead and write A, B, and C. So for A, you should have gotten a negative 0.4. B is 840, and C is a negative 75.6. To maximize the profit, how many mowers need to be produced and sold? Well, we know we have a parabola because the degree is 2. And because the x squared term is negative, it's going down, which means we have a maximum. Well, then that means to find the number of mowers for the biggest profit, it's the vertex, negative b over 2a. Negative 840 over 2 times negative 0.4. 840 divided by 0.8. 1,050 mowers. So you need to produce and sell 1,050 mowers to get a maximum profit. To find the maximum profit, plug this in for X. Okay. Are we getting 44,000 or 440,924 and 40 cents? I think I entered that one right. 840 times 1050 minus 6. Yeah. So if we sold 1,050 mowers, we'd make a maximum profit of 440,924. Any questions on that? Okay, let's try one more. Number 7. The total revenue for Pilot V5 pens is R of X equals 1,500X minus 0.02X squared dollars, where X is the number of pens sold. How many pens need to be sold to maximize the revenue? And then what is the maximum revenue? We know it's a parabola because it's squared. Revenue and profit, usually if it's a parabola, it will go down. That way you have a maximum. Cost usually goes up if it's a parabola because you want minimum cost. So we want to know the number of pens. That would be X. And it's the vertex, so it's negative B over 2A. Well, A is negative 0.02 because it's with the squared term. B is the 1,500. But what is C? Not that we need it for this part, but what is C? Yes, it's 0. When one of them is missing, it's 0. Now, the A will always be there or it's not a parabola, because if A is not there, it's a straight line. But B or C, if they are not there, then they're just 0. Negative 1,500 over 2 times A, which was 0.02, negative 0.02. 1,500 divided by 0.04. So we need 37,500 pens to get a maximum revenue. To find the maximum revenue, you just plug your answer from A into your function. So we have R of 37,500 equals 1,500 times 37,500 minus 0.02 times 37,500 squared. $28,125,000. And it did say dollars. So if we sell 37,500 pens, we'll reach our maximum revenue of $28,125,000. Any questions on that?